Hello everyone and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. Shortly after the news broke about Theodore McCarrick in June of 2018, confirming what many in the hierarchy had kept under wraps, that he was a serial homo predator, the modernist spin machine went into overdrive, covering its tracks. In a stunningly audacious interview at the annual Knights of Columbus convention that summer, Cardinal Donald Wuerl, who turned out to be the front man for the cover-up, totally deflected, or at least attempted to, when questioned by another liar in a collar, Father Thomas Rosica.
I don't think this is some massive crisis.
For the record, the truth of both those men has been fully revealed. Rosica, being a serial plagiarist, now in ecclesiastical Siberia, where he should have always been, and Wuerl essentially embarrassed into stepping down after his role in the McCarrick cover-up. But, of course, life being what it is, Rosica gets banished, and Wuerl collects a couple $1 million a year from the Archdiocese of Washington, D.C. in his retirement. Too bad for Father Tommy. The interview, however, revealed a lot more. Wuerl signaled in that interview to his brother bishops to hold the party line, to shut their mouths and do or say nothing. When it came to homosexual bishops or cover-up bishops or even bishops hooking up with whoever, all of this was to be kept in-house.
What I'm suggesting is we already have a National Review Board made up of lay people. Why don't we take from our conference a number of bishops from different committees to work with and invite the National Review Board to join them. So now we have a permanent body, and if someone has an accusation they want to bring, they can bring it there.
That summer, you recall, was a total revealing of the corruption up and down the hierarchy, from McCarrick to the Pennsylvania grand jury report to the original Vigano testimony, where for the first time the presence of an active, wicked homosexual cabal was outed as having a stranglehold on the church. But to Wuerl, who had been a master of deceit his entire time in robes, well, this was just another opportunity to get control of the narrative. Wuerl went out on the secular media tour with his serpentine demeanor, continuing the cover-up, not only of himself, but of all the other bishops involved in this filth.
So I think we have to be realistic and say this claim goes back over decades and decades.
That, of course, was a lie. You can tell when Wuerl is lying because he's talking. Just like so many other cardinals in the church whose resumes are replete with degrees, high degrees, in lying, deceit, deflection, and untruth. Those resumes are not going to be much help, by the way, when it comes to applying to heaven. But hey, they haven't lived that way their entire ecclesiastical careers, so why would they want to spend eternity around the truth? To dive a little deeper into the decades and decades ago fabrication, if that is the case, then why was a Brazilian bishop just relieved of his duties for masturbating on a video feed? Why was a Michigan priest trained right here in Detroit at Sacred Heart Seminary just a few years ago and touted as a model seminarian, why was he just arrested and charged with child sex trafficking? Why was the highest-ranking priest in the U.S., Monsignor Jeffrey Grinder Burrell, just caught making hundreds of hookups for gay sex? Why is the North American College in Rome currently being sued for homo-predator behavior on the part of the vice-rector, ordained by McCarrick, who mysteriously just resigned out of the blue? Included in that suit are more than 30 U.S. bishops who are, according to the suit, covering it all up and were completely non-responsive to the pleas of a seminarian being railroaded by, of course, Cardinal Timothy Dolan of New York. And that Brazilian bishop, prior to his unfortunate video display, he'd been twice reported to Pope Francis's Vatican for theft and having a gay lover. Nothing was ever pursued. Of course it wasn't. It's becoming commonplace now in the church that if you do not have electronic recordings of the actual crime or sin, the bishops investigate themselves and then they clear themselves. For example, the lying, cheating Bishop Richard Malone of Buffalo is no longer bishop, but because he refused to answer questions that we and others put to him about his cover-up of sex abuse by Buffalo clergy, but because he was secretly recorded on audio by one of his own priests where he was admitting his scheming. Likewise, Crookston Bishop Michael Hepner of Crookston, Minnesota, is now gone because he was captured lying on a video during a deposition. And while there wasn't specific video or audio evidence with Whirl, there was a paperwork trail that came to light that proved he too, as Archbishop Vigano said, was lying through his teeth. Civil suits, criminal charges, or video audio proof are the only things that the transparent, always want a dialogue with you, apologetic bishop crowd ever responds to, because then and only then is their hand forced. Of course, all this begins with knowledge, meaning the Catholic faithful must first understand precisely who and what we are dealing with. The hierarchy is an international gay crime syndicate that destroys anyone and everyone it can to secure its money and cover its active homosexuality. The hierarchy as a whole has been aligning itself here in the United States with the party of death, the commie bastard Democrats, for decades, because that party has been funneling them C-17 loads of cash every year to help destabilize America. The bishops steal the faithful's money from the collection basket each Sunday, and they steal it again from their taxes every year. It's quite the racket. It's pretty good work if you can get it. You get zillions of dollars from people you have fooled into thinking that you are trustworthy, and then you owe an accounting to absolutely no one. Until, of course, when you die, but oh well, in the meantime, the gay sex is exhilarating. And if we get to flex our sociopath muscles and destroy a few good priests along the way and make sexual abuse victims of our gay buddy clerics relive it all again, hey, that's a bonus, right? And even now, in light of all of these revelations, huge numbers of Catholics are still in the dark because so few people are actually telling you all this. Least of all, the Catholic establishment media, who likewise profit from all this evil, however pious they may present themselves in matters strictly theological. Church Militant has been informing you of all of this corruption way before it was fashionable. And as we learned of the total depravity and depth of the evil in the hierarchy and that it engages in that, we committed to expose everything we can because at the end of the day, it stands as a roadblock to innocent souls flailing about in an ocean of cultural wokeness engineered by the bishops in cooperation with the Marxist Democrats. Bottom line to this vortex, knowledge is king. If knowledge were not king, the evil bishops and their cowardly counterparts in mitres would not go to such lengths to deprive you of it. They never reveal anything unless either they are forced to by a judge or they simply say it and then they quickly lie about it, but only when they are forced to say anything by circumstances. What is needed now is further knowledge on the part of the faithful, more information, so that they can spread the word and take action, demand change, look for opportunities to sue these monsters in mitres, get the secular press to do stories on them. Just be relentless, pounding, never stopping, just like they have been with you for decades in covering up the truth. Hound these men, but you need knowledge to do that. So today, Church Militant is excited to announce that beginning on Tuesday, September 7th, the day after American Labor Day, we will begin our expanding our nightly news coverage to now incorporate the download discussion immediately following it. Secondly, we'll be airing this all-new Catholic Info Hour from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern each weeknight. That's a change from the current 6:30 Eastern where we bring you just evening news live. Now it will be evening news and download as a full 1 hour live presentation beginning at 7 Eastern Time. The staff have been in meetings and planning sessions and deeper discussions for weeks now, and we're getting our final game on, rearranging shifts and personnel responsibilities to bring you the most informative, no-holds-barred, honest, trustworthy news and discussion show in the entire Catholic world. And sorry, fellas, like EWTN, CNA, Register, Relevant Radio, Ave Maria Radio, but the rest of you are just not trustworthy in discussing the current crisis. You are personally invested in keeping your mouths shut. And as we've said here for years, that's the price you have to pay for your lack of independence. You are too closely tied to the criminals in the hierarchy, so no matter how you slice it and dice it, you are compromised, period. There are simply some subjects you are forbidden from covering, but the problem is, it is precisely those subjects that are the heart of the crisis. You know, the crisis that isn't a massive, massive crisis. You know, the one that's decades old. The Catholic world needs a single, reliable point of knowledge and information which has no constraints. That, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow faithful Catholics, is the Catholic Info Hour, debuting live on churchmilitant.com Tuesday, September 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'd like to say thank you to all of our premium subscribers and our supporters who make the ever-expanding Church Militant footprint possible. And for the record, that's 6 million viewers per month. Thank you, and mark your calendars for the debut of the Catholic Info Hour. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.